Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Roseville City Council meeting of October 5th, 2022. I'd like to call the meeting to order and ask our clerk to please read the roll.
Vice Mayor Heldeshelt.
Here.
Councilmember Elbert.
Here.
Councilmember Mendoza.
Here.
Councilmember Rakucci.
Here.
And Mayor Bernasconi.
Thank you. I'd like to ask Councilmember Pauline Rakucci if she would please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to ask our clerk if she would please read the meeting procedures for tonight.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the City of Roseville's October 5th, 2022 City Council meeting. If you're present here tonight and have not already picked up an agenda, please feel free to help yourself as they are available at the end of the staff table to your right. As a reminder, the Brown Act does prohibit the City Council from taking action or discussing any item that is not listed on tonight's agenda. Each speaker may address the City Council at the podium, and they will be provided with 3 minutes, during which time they may make public comments on non-agenda items. The maximum allotted time for this portion is 25 minutes. Additionally, speakers that would like to make comments on agendized items, those appearing on the agenda tonight, will have 5 minutes to make and express their comments to the City Council. Time will be monitored, and once the red light blinks at the podium, we are going to request that you please conclude your comments. Lastly, if you address our City Council tonight, please consider stating your name for the record. With that, thank you for your civic participation, and welcome to the City of Roseville.
Thank you very much. We have one presentation to give this evening, and I will go to the podium and meet Stephanie Hill or Hallie Romero there. Hi, Hallie.
Hi.
Well, we all know by now that October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I am here this evening to present a proclamation to Hallie Romero, who does her more than her fair share in our region for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So I would like to read a little bit of the proclamation and then offer you an opportunity to say a few words if you'd like. So we know that breast cancer touches the lives of Americans from every background and in every community. Considerable progress has been made in the fight against breast cancer. It's estimated that 287,000 new cases of invasive breast cancer in women will be diagnosed in the United States in 2022. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It's an annual campaign to increase awareness about the disease. And during this time, it's fitting to advocate for breast cancer research and education about breast cancer detection, risk factors, and treatment. We support those courageously fighting breast cancer and honor the lives lost to this disease. So this October, we recognize breast cancer survivors, those battling the disease, their families who are a resource of love and encouragement, and applaud the efforts of the medical professionals, of researchers working hard to find a cure. So on behalf of the City Council, I'd like to proclaim October 2022 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month and urge citizens and civic organizations to acquaint themselves with the issues involved with breast cancer awareness. So thank you very much for being here and all that you do for Placer County, and I'll turn it over to you to say a few words.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. On behalf of the Placer County Breast Cancer Foundation, this is such an honor. Thank you for recognizing our foundation as well as this month as we raise money to fight breast cancer in every way we can. In our partnership with UC Davis, we look forward to building and creating more opportunities and more research into cures wherever we can find them. UC Davis is doing a great job. They have a fellowship there specifically dedicated to breast cancer research, and we support that. We have many events going on this month to create awareness as well as to raise money, and we hope you get a chance to get out and find those. We have a program called Paint Placer Pink. So you'll see a lot of restaurants and other opportunities to support us, and we just can't thank you enough for recognizing the people that are fighting this disease as well as those that are trying to solve it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, I'll open it up for public comment. Now is the time for anyone to come forward to address the council on any item that's not on the agenda. I know I have one speaker card here, and I'll pull from that first. Are there speaker cards at the podium?
I didn't see any.
Okay. Okay, so I'll take Richard Wuckmer first, and then anyone else can follow.
He's declining.
No? Okay. Is there anyone else here who would like to address the council on any item that's not on the agenda? We hold public comment at the end of the meeting as well, too, so if you would like to speak, then you may do so. We'll move on to the consent calendar, and our clerk will announce the procedures for approving the consent calendar.
Thank you. All matters on consent are considered routine in nature and will be approved by one motion. There will be no discussion on consent calendar items unless a member of the City Council staff or a member of the public requests for a specific item to be pulled for further discussion. At this time, neither council or staff has made such request. Is there any member of the public that would like to pull an item for further discussion at this time? Seeing none, Mayor, I'd like to have items 7.1 through 7.15 is what we have on consent tonight. If I can get a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor by Councilmember Mendoza with a second by Councilmember Rakucci. We'll do our roll call, starting with Vice Mayor Haldeshelt.
Yes.
Councilmember Albert?
Yes.
Councilmember Mendoza?
Yes.
Councilmember Rakucci?
Yes.
And Mayor Bernasconi?
Yes,
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move into item 8.1, which is a council discretionary funds request from the Placer Breast Cancer Foundation.
Thank you. On this item, we're going to have Vice Mayor Haldeshelt recuse himself from this particular item as he sits on the board for this particular organization. So again, the record will reflect that Vice Mayor Haldeshelt did exit the room and will not be participating in item 8.1, which is a council discretionary fund for Placer Breast Cancer Foundation.
Is there anyone going to make a presentation?
Yes, we're going to have our city manager, Mr. Casey, address that item.
I'm sorry.
Council discretionary
Too many
funds.
things going on. Can
The breast cancer, the discretionary funds for $2,000, which was a request that was made to support UC Davis Comprehensive Cancer Center, as well as the annual Hot Pink Fun Run that is put in downtown Roseville on September 25th, 2022. Were you going to?
I mean, that's interesting. I certainly can. We've never done that before. But yes, I'm certainly happy to entertain the council entertain the request for the what is the amount?
$2,000.
For $2,000.
Yep. I know. There you go. Good job, Dom. I know. We usually don't call on you. I think this is the time where I will open up to public comment, and then we might have someone come forward then. So is there anyone here that would like to make a public comment on this item for discretionary funds? Thank you.
I was surprised that Don was going to take that for me.
Whatever it takes.
Good evening, Mayor Bernasconi and City Council. I'm Stephanie Hill. I'm the Executive Director of the Placer Breast Cancer Foundation. And tonight we're requesting $2,000 in support for our Paint Placer Pink campaign, which takes place during the month of October, which we've just recognized is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And these funds will go to helping us promote and provide educational opportunities and outreach opportunities in our area, such as our educational coffees, our women's retreat. We did have our Hot Pink Fun Run in September. That's how we kick off the month. And any other questions that you guys might have, I am here to answer.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else that would like to speak to this item? Okay, I'll close public comment and bring it back to the council to see if they have any questions, follow-up. No. The only thing I'd like to say, this is a worthwhile cause. I personally love it. I also like it when we can get these requests earlier. I know this the event kicked off with September 25th, which this contribution would help to support. But in the future, I think it just sets a better precedence for us if we can have this before us before the actual events start taking place. Is there anyone else who would like to make a comment on it?
Okay, we'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
Thank you. We have a motion on the floor by Councilmember Albert with a second by Councilmember Mendoza. With that, we'll let the record again reflect that Vice Mayor Haldeshelt did not participate on this item and will not be participating in the vote. Next, we will take Councilmember Albert.
Yes.
Councilmember Mendoza.
Yes.
Councilmember Rakucci.
Yes.
And Mayor Bernasconi.
Yes. Thank you.
Very much. Thank you. Next, we'll take up item 8.2, which is a council discretionary fund for the Roseville Joint Union High School District. The record will reflect that that Mayor Bernasconi did exit the room as she has a potential conflict. This particular agency is a client of hers, so she will not participate in the discussion or the vote on the matter. So this is, again, a discretionary request of $3,000 for the Roseville Joint Union High School District for local scholarship program.
Yeah, is there anyone who,
in the public who's gonna?
in the public who would like to speak on this?
Hello, good evening. My name is Jackie Sider, and I am the coordinator of the Roseville Joint Union High School District Scholarship Program. I am very excited to be here tonight to request the discretionary funds for our scholarship program. We were awarded those funds last year, and to tell you that we are thankful is an understatement. It really moved and changed the lives of 3 students who are now settling in their college dorm rooms. These types of scholarships will make a difference in students making the decision to go from high school to employment or from high school to college or a trade school. As you know, the cost of college is outrageous. It's gotten more and more expensive every year, and our students are working very diligently to get their grades up so that they can qualify for other types of scholarships, but it takes a community outreach. We, as the district program, have been working on our own to raise funds. We reach out to our parents' clubs, our alumni associations, our Chamber of Commerce has done a lot of good work with us, and just most recently, the Sacramento Kings Association, our organization, has been willing to help us. To say that we need money, again, is an understatement. We sent out about $250,000 in scholarships to our students last year, which sounds like an enormous amount of money, and why do we need more? But actually, if you look at the number of students that our district has, our seniors, it equated to less than 9% of our students who received a scholarship. Many of these students have severe financial need, and again, it really makes a difference. 3 of our students who won the scholarship last year sent thank you notes to the city council, and it inspired me after I read them to be a better person and better citizen myself. These are students who are Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, who have received awards from the Chamber of Commerce from the Become Award. They're actively involved in our community, and they want to come back and be our future workers. So I just respectfully request that we once again request the discretionary fund so that we can continue to make a difference in these children's educational dreams. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have anyone else in the public who'd like to speak on this? Mr. Huber?
Good evening, Mr. Vice Mayor and council members. Many of you know I'm the president of the school board for the Roseville Joint Union High School District. And what maybe you don't know is that education runs in my blood. I am the grandson of a librarian. I am the son of a kindergarten teacher. And I am the very grateful and very lucky husband of an excellent elementary school teacher that used to teach here at one of the schools in our district. When we had our own kids, she decided to raise our own kids at home. But education runs in my blood. I've been on the board of the high school district for 16 years and of the Roseville City School District for 2.5 years before that. If you want to affect the future of someone, give them an education. There is no better way to get someone out of one scenario and into a better scenario than by giving them an education. You have partnered with the district in countless ways, with SROs, with scholarships, with, again, innumerable ways, and we very much appreciate that. And I ask for your unanimous support on this one as well. I also want to, I know I didn't want to take up a separate speaker matter on non-agenda items, but I want to thank you for your support for the Santucci Scholarship as well. I know many of you were there. Many of you supported it. Many of you supported it by golfing. Many of you supported it by donating to it. And we raise an awful lot of money with that scholarship event for students. And so I want to thank the city for the great partnership that we have had, for the leadership that you all have given, to the staff and to us. It does not go unnoticed, and I want to make sure it doesn't go unsaid. We very much appreciate your support, and I would appreciate your support on this item. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else on this item?
No.
Well, now we'll bring it back to council. Councilmember Rakucci?
No, I think this is any way that we can help students is a good thing.
Councilmember Mendoza?
This is a no-brainer, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Councilmember Albert?
Ditto.
All right, we'll entertain a motion, and if I remember correctly, the amount is $3,000?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So a motion to approve $3,000 to the, from the council discretionary funds for Roseville Joint Union High School District Local Scholarship Program. With that, we'll take Vice Mayor Haldeshelt.
Oh, who's going to make the motion?
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Councilmember Mendoza with a second by Councilmember Rakucci. With that, Vice Mayor Haldeshelt.
Yes.
Councilmember Albert.
Yes.
Councilmember Mendoza.
Yes.
Councilmember Rakucci.
Yes.
And the record will reflect that Mayor Bernasconi did not participate on this item, nor did she vote. Thank you. Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you very much, and thanks for nudging me there. I forgot I was in the chair.
Okay, we'll move on to item 8.3, which is a council discretionary funds for the Gathering Inn.
Yes, we received a request for council discretionary funds for the Gathering Inn for their 4th annual Gathering for Hope event on November 4th, 2022.
Okay, I'll open this up to public comment. We'll spare you, Dom, of having to make any comments on this one. Is there anyone here this evening that would like to comment on this item? You can come forward.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and City Council members. It's my pleasure, and I'm just so grateful to request from you $5,000 to join us in our Gathering for Hope event as major sponsors. We would value your presence with us because it demonstrates your alignment with our mission, which is to meet people where they are, inspire hope, and to walk alongside them on their journey from homelessness to sustainable housing. These funds would be used to support our general operating fund, which includes mental health care as well as case management, which helps individuals who are experiencing homelessness identify barriers to housing and equip and empower them so that they can achieve sustainable housing. Your presence there would just mean so much because your partnership throughout these many years has meant so much.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else that would like to comment on this item? Okay, I'll close public comment and bring it back to the council for any further deliberations, questions.
What was the
Councilmember
amount we
Albert?
donated last time at the last event? Were we a major sponsor?
Last year was 5,000. Previous years before that were 2,500. And it's been the last 3 years.
I know this is our major homeless service in the city. They provide the most service to us as residents to our city. I'm comfortable being a major sponsor like that again.
I apologize. I should have done this research. How much do we have left in the discretionary fund?
That I am not sure.
Yeah.
According to this
Typically on the
communication,
agenda.
Memo.
it says we have 26, but we gave 3 to the school and then 2 to the cancer, so that's 5. So
Okay.
21, 509, if my math is
Yeah.
right on this.
And I would agree with Councilman Alvord. The thing that's different for me this year is I believe we're going to have more and more requests coming forward. So I'm going to be more comfortable in the $2,500 range as a sponsorship because I think we're going to get more and more requests as the year goes by.
Remind us, Dom, every year the council's budget is set aside for $30,000. Is that right? 30,000?
That's correct.
For organizations to come forward. I mean, I can't remember the last time we've had 3 on at one night, but for organizations to come forward who provide some sort of service to the city residents. And then once those funds are depleted, then they are not redeposited again until basically July 1st we start over. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. So according to Tracy's math, we're at 21,000 around. So going to that then puts us, what, at 16 if we do the 5,000.
So would we say last year was 5,000, the year before was 2,500?
And 25 before that.
So in the middle, it could be 3,000.
Okay.
And if I could provide a point of clarification, municipal code says it's 15,000 that gets put aside every year.
And then it rolls over, and that's
But it rolls
so that's
over,
why
right?
that's
Oh.
where you have the 30
That's right.
from, because it rolled
So
over.
it's
last.
15 really every year that we have discretionary.
What is that, July to July, 15?
Fiscal year.
Fiscal year, okay.
Okay.
And just for reference, I know there are another two that will be coming next week
Okay.
or next council meeting.
Okay. So really this would, if we're talking about the $15,000, this would be a third of it for the entire year of our funds. So do we want to, with the request is 5,000, we don't have a motion for that.
Yeah.
How do we?
And the other thing is, when I went last year, I made a personal donation as well, so I imagine there's other donations that come from, and various amounts from not only the council, but maybe even some of our city employees. So, I mean, I would be comfortable at 2,500.
So we currently have 2,500 that was proposed by Vice Mayor Haldeshelt, 3,000 proposed by Councilmember Rakucci, and 5,000 in support of by Councilmember Albert. That's what we currently have. We can take a motion.
I would compromise with Rakucci and Councilmember Rakucci at 3.
Sounds like a second to me.
So do you want to make, Councilmember want to make a motion for either 2,500 or 3,000?
I think 3, I mean, because we're 5 last year and then 25 3 years before that, because it's 4th year.
Okay.
Everything's gone up. I mean, the cost of these events, as well as the other 2 entities that came forward too, it's costing these nonprofits more to do these things, to get more money for their organization. So I don't think a $500 increase over last year to this year is that much to.
So I'm hearing a consensus for the 3,000. If I can get a motion to approve $3,000 for the Gathering Inn?
So moved.
Thank you.
Or Scott.
So I have a motion on the floor by Councilmember Rakucci with a second by Councilmember Albert. With that, we'll do a roll call with Vice Mayor Haldeshelt.
Yes.
Councilmember Albert.
Yes.
Councilmember Mendoza.
Yes.
Councilmember Rakucci.
Yes.
And Mayor Bernasconi.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes unanimously for a $3,000 donation.
Thank you. Thank you, Darlene. Okay, we'll move on to item 8.4, which is unscheduled vacancies that we have on our senior commission.
Good, there's a couple of
So
ballots here.
you should have, in front of you, we do have, so you should have your ballot in front of you. We currently have 2 vacancies for 2 individuals to the Senior Commission, 1 term expiring on December 31st, 2022, and 1 term expiring December 31st, 2023. From the applications received, the following individuals submitted interest for these particular positions. We have Eugene Cheng, Barbara Harmon, Cheyenne Lee, Steve Miller, and Arlene Starr. Now, because we do have 2 openings, whoever receives the highest vote will have the longer term, and whoever receives the second highest will have the shorter term.
Got it.
Okay, with that, if you can please vote and submit your ballots to me. Thank you. Okay, thank you. So we have Councilmember Mendoza. We have 1 vote for Eugene Cheng and 1 vote for Steve Miller. We have Councilmember Rakucci voting for Barbara Harmon and Arlene Starr. We have Mayor Bernasconi supporting Barbara Harmon and Arlene Starr. Councilmember Alvord voting for Eugene Cheng and Steve Miller. And Vice Mayor Haldeshelt voting for Cheyenne Lee and Arlene Starr. So from this, our highest vote getter is Arlene Starr, but we have 3 ties for Eugene Cheng, Barbara Harmon, and Steve Miller. So if I can ask you to please vote once again on your second ballot for just one individual.
And I realize that we didn't take public comment, so this will be a good opportunity to do that.
Thank you, Michelle. You want me to do that right now? Okay. I'll open it up to public comment. Is there anyone here tonight that would like to speak to this item? Please come forward. Okay. Thank you very much. That's why we have our attorney here to keep us on the straight and narrow. I appreciate that. Okay. I'll close public comment and we'll go back to voting.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so we have Councilmember Mendoza supporting Eugene Cheng. Councilmember Rakucci, Barbara Harmon. Mayor Bernasconi, Barbara Harmon. Councilmember Alvord, Eugene Cheng.
This is good.
And Vice Mayor Haldeshelt, Steve Miller. So we have a tie vote once again for Eugene Cheng and Harmon. We do have one last set.
Because I was the outlier, I don't get to vote the next time, right?
No, you all get to vote. We have one last ballot here. You can give that to Mr. Alvord.
We have any discussion at all, or?
Sure. Yep.
And Don Brown.
Discussion?
I watched all the videos and looked at the applications. This was a toss-up. This was usually there's like somebody can eliminate, but it was like really, really hard. The one thing that was that I learned is it's an all-female group, and so that's one of the reasons I was trying to get a male on there. So just some diversity that way. So just thought I'd throw that out there. But again,
The current?
current is all females,
Oh, okay.
and we voted a female, so now we have 4 females and an open seat. So
Okay.
not-
Any other
not that-
comments?
Sometimes I look to see how long people have lived here, and some people think it was 3 to 5 months. I looked at people even that have been here for 2 to 4 years and have picked people that I thought were really, interested in, being on it. I agree with you, Scott. They were very good candidates, and they were very interested.
It's like we're playing poker.
We're not going to lose with any of our
Right,
picks. I mean, that's a good thing. It's like they're
Go
all
ahead and
agree with
vote,
you.
please.
support any of them.
There's no
Totally
further
agree with you.
comment.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I can go.
So Councilmember Rakucci, Eugene Cheng. Councilmember Mendoza, Eugene Cheng. Councilmember Alvord, Eugene Cheng. Vice Mayor Haldeshelt, Barbara Harmon. And Mayor Bernasconi, Eugene Cheng. Okay, thank you very much. So once again, going back to the highest vote getter for the first round, we do have Ms. Arlene Starr, who will have the longer term that will expire December 2023, with Eugene Cheng's term expiring on December of 2022.
We'll have a couple of vacancies to fill in 2020, in just a
Great,
couple
yeah.
months.
With that, if I can get a motion to appoint Eugene Chang for the shorter term and Arlene Starr for the longer term.
So moved.
Second.
Third.
I'm sorry, did I hear a motion from Albert?
From Albert,
And Bruce.
second by Riccucci.
So motion made by Councilmember Albert with the second by Councilmember Rakucci. We'll do our roll call, starting off with Vice Mayor Haldeshelt.
Yes.
Councilmember Albert?
Yes.
Councilmember Mendoza?
Yes.
Councilmember Rakucci?
Yes.
And Mayor Bernasconi?
Yes, thank you. And thank you to all who applied, and
was a great group.
and congratulations to the two that were appointed. And we'd just like to remind folks that to keep applying. We have lots of vacancies coming up, and we always need more people to help serve. So we'll move on to item 8.5, which is an economic development strategy and envision Roseville advancing our economy. And we have our economic development director, Melissa Anguiano, here. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor Bernasconi, members of the City Council, Melissa Anguiano, your city's Economic Development Director. We are excited to be here tonight to present the city's updated economic development strategy, Envision Roseville Advancing Our Economy. For tonight's presentation, I'm going to go over kind of the process on kind of how we updated the document, and then I focus on kind of the key strategic areas of this update. Currently, the city recognizes economic development under kind of three formal policy documents. One is the City Council goals under Enhancing Economic Vitality. Back in October of 2019, the City Council conducted a public workshop to affirm the city's missions, vision, and values. And as part of that process, and with input from the public, Council prioritized 6 focus areas and identified enhancing economic vitality as a priority goal for the city. The last economic development strategy, as you see here on the slide, was adopted by the City Council in 2017 and outlined initiatives the Economic Development Department would pursue and implement to support business investment and job growth in the city. Since the adoption of the last strategy, the city has seen remarkable results from implementation of that plan and consistent commitment to economic development efforts in the city, including the addition of notable new businesses and the addition of thousands of new jobs. And then the last is the prosperity strategy, which is the Sacramento region's comprehensive economic development strategy, or what we refer to as our SEDS. And this is a document that is required to qualify for federal funding from the Economic Development Administration. During your annual strategic planning session in February 2022, the City Council listed the update of the city's economic development strategy as a priority under their goal to enhance economic vitality. Back at that workshop, we presented a framework and an approach to updating a strategy that included looking at a strategy that was citywide in nature, as opposed to department-centric, and really took into consideration the various roles many folks play in supporting economic growth throughout the city. This is a chart that we used, or a diagram we used, to kind of have those conversations with our partners and internal departments to demonstrate really how economic development is woven into the fabric of our community. A couple of items we noted back in February was that the intent of this update wasn't to change our priorities or to rebrand who we are as a city. We've had significant work completed, work underway, and we thought there was tremendous opportunity to build off of that. While some of the document is prescribed, some of the other actions are very general in nature, and that is purposeful, in that we wanted to make sure that we created a document that allows us to take opportunities and pursue opportunities as they became presented. We anticipated that this document would help support city departments in their own efforts and goals, and that council would use this to inform any discrete project or program considerations brought forward as it aligns to many of city council goals. So after that workshop, we took various steps to updating the plan. We established a project team of citywide representatives, which I will present in the next slide. We gathered some industry cluster information. We looked at labor and workforce data. We developed strategic area goals, actions, initiatives, including identifying partners and establishing measurements. And then we did a series of outreach and vetting with internal and external stakeholders, including our departments, council. Our Economic Development Advisory Commission had an opportunity to look at the document and provide feedback on 3 separate occasions, our chamber and external key partners. We finalized a draft, including an initial draft of a marketing and communication plan, which we thought was really important, and we presented that to EDAC on August 30th, and they made a recommendation to forward that to council for approval. So tonight we are here for that approval. The citywide technical advisory team and this strategy was really a collaborative effort involving multiple meetings and discussions and input from various city departments. This is a list of who was included and the departments represented in that process. We also included and met with numerous key partners, as you see outlined on this slide, including the Roseville Area Chamber of Commerce, the Greater Sacramento Economic Council, Golden Sierra, the Small Business Development Center, and the Placer County Economic Development Department, to name a few. I also want to acknowledge the level of information that we received from our partners and the appreciation and encouragement. Most of our partners were very supportive and indicated their willingness to collaborate with the city moving forward. So to begin the update, we looked at work studies already completed, and we also re-examined our strengths and opportunities. In order to identify kind of activities that make the most sense for Sacramento, we wanted to have a good understanding of our current environment, and we did that through mapping these key assets and information. We outlined these strengths, threats, challenges, and then we met with our EDAC and council to receive feedback and comment. For industries, we looked at industry sector trends over the last 10 years and tradable cluster activity in the region. Based on those trends and the cluster activity we are seeing in our region, in addition to the resources we know that are coming online, we identified the following list of key opportunities for Roseville. The first 2 are pretty self-explanatory given our history and the presence of current key businesses. The next, food and ag, is certainly an industry we see opportunity to capture activity in, including processing, packaging, and distribution. And this is one that we know that our county has a strong presence in. Future mobility is an emerging sector. We see Roseville playing a significant role, especially our Roseville Electric Department. They have already made significant investments in infrastructure and already are a member of the California Mobility Center. And the last is building off the increased sports tourism our area and the city is already experiencing and planning for with the recent approval of the 20-field sports complex. We wanted to ensure that we have amenities necessary to complement this industry and support its growth. The vision we worked off of here on the screen is the same vision that was outlined in the 2017 strategy. We met with both the Economic Development Advisory Commission as well as council, and all agreed that it still represented where the city wanted to go and how the city wanted to pursue its economic development efforts. So building on our successes and responding to a changing environment, the city updated the strategy and set forth kind of goals and outlines under 6 focus areas. This strategy also acknowledges the collective role many departments and key stakeholders play in implementation. The focus areas and key objectives represent initiatives and goals that will help move the city towards its vision as the city of choice for people, business, workers, investors, and entrepreneurs. Each of these areas is accompanied by goals, actions, identified key partners, and measurements. The first 2 areas build on where Roseville demonstrates strength, promise, and opportunity. Actions include a focus on opportunity sites as well as targeted attraction, retention, and growth in industries we have prominence in, exploring small business technical assistance programs, and identifying workforce needs in the city. Council has already supported initiatives that align with these goals, including the approval and opening of the new Roseville Venture Lab, approval of funding to support the Talent Pipeline Management Program in collaboration with the Roseville Chamber, and the approval of the Roseville Sports Complex. The next three areas prioritize critical supporting components: workforce and human capital, the business environment, infrastructure, and being a community of choice. Actions in these areas list critical areas where we should focus on to ensure we continue to support and create conditions that encourage industry and business growth, where we can ensure the city-controlled aspects are streamlined, cost-effective, predictable. Our value propositions as a full-service city become that much more competitive. The last area acknowledges the role a connected cross-sector economy plays. The intent is to recognize the role key partners play in our economic growth and look at how collaborating and leveraging funding opportunities can support citywide efforts to economic development. Another good example of how Council has already supported actions in these areas include the potential development of the Roseville Industrial Park, expansion of our excellent parks and recreation options, and the reservation of funds to support the further development of affordable housing. The first two on this slide is, can we go to the next slide, please? Thank you. The first two on this slide is where we received great feedback and comments from our supporting departments, particularly in the areas of measurements. And measurements is one of those areas we really want to ensure we covered in the document. Because we really wanted to be able to track and assess how we're doing as a city, but also tell stories and promote the wins throughout our cities the best we can. Which takes us into what's next. As we move forward with the implementation, we hope that our departments will be able to use this to support their own goals and initiatives. When establishing the framework for this update, we discussed the importance of a marketing and communication plan to complement this strategy. We've started to have discussions with our departments as well, including parks, recreation, and libraries, and development services on how we can coordinate and promote our value propositions, tell stories, and highlight our great services. We are also currently working on developing an economic development department work plan to accompany this that will really focus on how we organize kind of our workload and where we prioritize some of our efforts over the next 18 months or so. Aligning those with council goals and direction, we hope that this plan will really guide our department as we explore opportunities. So with that, we are excited to present to you the City of Roseville Economic Development Strategy and Vision Roseville, Advancing Our Economy for approval. And that completes my presentation.
Does council have any questions of Melissa before we open it up to public comment?
Right now.
Any questions over here? No? Okay, I'll open up to public comment. Is there anyone that would like to come forward to speak to this item? Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council. My name is Scott Powell. I'm the Executive Vice President of the Greater Sacramento Economic Council. So standing before you to enthusiastically support and hope you approve the Economic Development Strategic Plan that your economic development staff so thoughtfully put together. So as somebody who has sat in Melissa's chair before, understanding that taking that level of input, synthesizing it and putting it together in an actionable document that addresses some of the key components. There's strong alignment with the work we're doing for at the regional level, especially among traded industry sectors, entrepreneurship, workforce, and then bringing sites in place so we actually have a place to put these employers. So famous site selector out there always says is, no product, no project. So I think this really builds out the strategic plan, the thoughtfulness, and puts into place everything that the community will need to continue to be a leader in economic development. So with that, I'll do something very un-GSEC-like and be brief and yield the remainder of my time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Scott. Good evening.
Good evening. Mayor and honorable council members, very honored to be here today to strongly support this economic development plan that's in front of you. It has been a pleasure working with the city staff throughout the process, where they have done thorough efforts to seek support and input from the community and to make sure that all of that is incorporated in the plan. On behalf of our board of directors and the 1,100 plus members we represent in the community, we are very proud of the support. I'd like to highlight a few things. This plan is very much in alignment with the strategic plan that the Chamber has just also completed its review of. We are here to really establish Roseville as not one of the most business-friendly city, but as the most business-friendly city in the state of California. And we are very proud of the effort that the city is putting towards ensuring that that happens, whether it's through supporting small businesses, entrepreneurship, and workforce development. We're excited to work in collaboration with our city council and with the city staff to ensure that we launch a successful talent pipeline management program in the area. And I'm very also pleased to announce that we just received an additional grant from the Los Rios Community College District that will complement the funding that we have received from the city to elevate the workforce development work that we're doing here in Roseville in collaboration with our city. So we're very honored to be here, speak in support of this item, and I want to thank you for all your effort and your leadership. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ronna. Is there anyone else who would like to speak to this item? You can come forward.
Is it specifically about this item?
Yes.
Oh, never mind.
We do public comment on any item that's not on the agenda at the end of the meeting, and we're getting close. Okay. All right. If there are no other comments, I'll close public comment and bring it back to the council for either further deliberation or comments.
Yeah, I'm super excited about this document. I think this is absolutely ultra professional. I've watched it progress and change, and I know this is going to be a guiding light in the whole county, actually, because I think we're the furthest ahead on this kind of documentation. And we talk about economic development. I know talking to residents, sometimes they don't understand what that means and the value of it. And I think this is just the guidebook and the strategy for everything that's going to fund the quality of life. So Roseville is ranked -- 1 place to raise a family in the whole state of California. And the amenities that we have, the parks, the nice roads, libraries, the excellent public safety that's provided here, that funding comes from economic development and really thoughtful processes to try to fund all these services that we offer. And so I think this is the backbone of our city's quality that we offer. And so I'm just really, really excited to be able to support this. So.
Yeah, likewise. Congratulations to the project staff team, Wayne Miley, Robert Klein, Gina McCall, and the Technical Advisory Committee. Too many names to read there. But these are the keystones, right, that all integrate really well and create the synergy for things like the Venture Lab and other things like that. So really an impressive piece of work, and look forward to implementing this over the next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. So thank you.
It's nice to have this document as a guide, and congratulations on your Los Rios money. I know how difficult that is to get.
I think it's really nice that it's in one form, and it goes over everything that we've been talking about and just puts it in a better perspective. And I'd have to go with Scott. I think it makes it a little bit easier for the community when they look at it. What does it mean when you say economic development, or when we're talking about the long fields and our industrial area? And it puts it all right in front. So thank you for all your hard work and all the other people who helped do it.
Melissa, I'll just add that you and your team have spent so much time on this, and you have involved so many of the stakeholders, probably all of them within the county, and you've brought the council along the entire time getting our feedback too. And as my colleagues have said, really economic development is how the city's able to pay its bills. Everything kind of trickles down from that. So congratulations to the team. We're really proud of it, and thank you for all of your hard work. So with that, does someone want to make a motion?
I'll move staff's recommendation. Or you read it and
I'm
I'll
gonna-
move it.
Yes, thank you. So the motion before the City Council is that the City Council will consider adopting Resolution Number 22-373, which is adopting the City of Roseville's Economic Development Strategy, Envision Roseville, advancing our economy. If I can get a motion to approve.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion on the floor by Vice Mayor Haldeshelt with a second by Councilmember Alvord. We'll do roll call, starting with Vice Mayor Haldeshelt.
Yes.
Councilmember Alvord. Councilmember Mendoza.
Yes.
Councilmember Rakucci.
Yes.
And Mayor Bernasconi.
Yes, thank you, thank you. Okay, we have one public hearing tonight. It's item 9.1, the Prospera at Fitiment Ranch Apartments fee deferral. I'll open the public comment, and we will be hearing from our economic development analyst, Gina McCall, and we also have Melissa with us as well. Good evening.
Okay, thank you. So good evening, I'm Gina McCall with the city's Economic Development Department. Tonight I'll be presenting on the Prospera at Fitiment Ranch fee deferral request. So in August, the Hampstead Companies, developers of the apartment complex, submitted a fee deferral request. The request is to allow certain city-controlled fees that would typically be collected at building permit issuance to be deferred to building permit occupancy. Following review of the application by city staff, the listed fees on this slide are being recommended to be deferred. The total fees to be deferred are approximately $3 million. The city does charge interest on the deferral and an administrative fee for processing the request, so there will be no financial loss to the city from the fee deferral. So just for some information on the project, the Prospera at Fitiment Apartments project will be located on Hayden Parkway, north of Blue Oaks Boulevard in the West Roseville specific plan. The project will include a 198-unit multifamily apartment complex with on-site amenities. There will be a mix of 1, 2, and 3-bedroom units ranging from approximately 600 square feet to 1,100 square feet. The developer will offer 94 affordable tax credit units, and the remaining 104 units will be a mix of affordable and workforce units. This project will help the city meet its RHNA numbers for affordable housing. The project has already received planning entitlements and has submitted for building permits. So tonight's request is not related to the project design and is just considering the timing for payment of impact fees. The Roseville Municipal Code and Government Code Section 53083 requires all fee deferrals to be approved via a public hearing. So this request is routine in nature. The city's fee deferral program is an important economic development tool that facilitates new development that may not otherwise be financially feasible without this program. Staff is therefore recommending that the City Council adopt a resolution approving a fee deferral for the Prospera at Fitiment Ranch Apartments project in an amount of approximately $3 million plus interest until final of building permit, building occupancy. So that concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions, and we do have the applicant here as well.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Does the council have any questions before I open it up to public comment?
I have one. On the 1.25% interest rate to cover, the time of not having the fees in the bank for us, does that actually cover the interest lost in having it up front? Just with the interest rates going up, I just figured I'd ask the question.
We look at the city's pooled interest over the 10-year period, and so that's what it currently is at right now.
Excellent. Okay, that's it.
No question staff hasn't already answered.
I just had a question about how long, I know this is, they always have an answer, but how long do they think this project will be completed? 3 years, 5 years, 2 years? How long?
Perhaps the developer can answer that for us.
Like it tomorrow, I know, but what would it, about?
22 months.
Oh, okay.
I was going to say 18.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions of council? All right, I will open up to public comment. Is there anyone here tonight that would like to speak to this item? Good evening.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and council members. Scott Huber. I'm absolutely in favor of this. I actually, just for my own interest, looked up the LAIF rate, and last rate was posted for August was 1.27%. interest rates are going up. This likely isn't going to cover the actual interest. So to say it's covering the 10-year average in reverse is sort of the equivalent of painting your windshield, darkening it out so you can't see anything, and then driving by looking in the rearview mirror. There's no way you're going to. Don't get me wrong. I'm absolutely in favor of this, but you're probably not going to get all of the interest that you ordinarily would get right now. It is absolutely a good policy to do. Might want to adjust the rate just based on your current economic conditions. We know rates are high or higher than they have been, particularly for the LAIF rate. Probably going to go up in the next little bit. I think they're going to go up nominally. They're not going to go up, to 6, 7, 8%. They're currently 1.27. I think I looked for August. They'll probably go up nominally again. The month before that, I think they were at 1.01 or 1.02. So they're not going to go up very much, and you're probably not going to lose very much money on this. But I don't think you're going to recover all of the money that you ordinarily would gain if you got it today and you put it in a LAIF investment fund. But I'm absolutely in support of it. I think it's a good idea. Thanks.
Thank you for your comment. Is there anyone else who would like to make a comment on this item? Okay. Close public comment and bring it back to the council for further deliberations. If we don't have any, we'd like to have a motion.
Thank you. At this time, the City Council will consider adopting Resolution Number 22386, approving a fee deferral for the 2801 North Hayden Parkway Prospera at Vitamin Ranch Apartments project. If I can get a motion to approve.
So moved.
Thank you. Get a second. Thank you. We have a motion on the floor by Councilmember Rakucci with a second by Councilmember Alvord. We'll do a roll call starting off with Vice Mayor Haldeshelt.
Yes.
Councilmember Alvord.
Yes.
Councilmember Mendoza.
Yes.
Councilmember Rakucci.
Yes.
And Mayor Bernasconi.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, that brings us almost to the end of our agenda. We do have one last public comment. Is there anyone that would like to make a comment on any item that's not on the agenda? Now's time to come forward. If you state your name for us, please.
Hi, Andrew Arshenko. So as you guys on the municipal level, create municipal ordinances or codes, and that is the law of the land. Yesterday, I had 2 days ago, a very despicable thing that happened to me at the library down the street. A guy who sexually assaulted my 79-year-old friend was in the library, and we politely asked him to leave the house. He did. And he's a blackout drunk alcoholic, and he was upset that I told my friends that I want nothing to do with them. He was blackout drunk at the library. He started yelling. I turned around without him saying a word, walked away, and a librarian and his friend threatened me to take me outside and beat the crap out of me. A library staff member said, "What's the problem?" I've worked in law enforcement, I've worked in mental health, I've had years of having feces and blood and urine thrown on me. I don't really back down to anything, but I also know how to ignore stuff. He wants to cause a disruption in public, that's on him. I'm going to turn around and walk away. They asked what the problem was. I explained it that he sexually assaulted my very good 79-year-old friend, who is also Roseville Volunteer of the Year a few years ago. And they said, "Sir, we think, or you need to leave, sir." And I'm like, why do I need to leave? You're causing a disturbance. Ma'am, you just saw everything that happened. This guy started telling me I was invading his privacy by looking at a library book at a library. Far-fetched, I know. And they kept on going, "You need to leave, sir." So what did I do? I didn't even say a word, didn't give him a hand gesture. I just turned around and that's it. So there is a legal document saying that I am, with the threat of criminal punishment, banned from going to a City of Roseville library for not being a jerk to this guy. And when I said, define what you consider disorderly, well, we told you to leave. Well, why would you tell me to leave when I didn't do anything wrong? And they said, we'll call the police if you don't leave. I said, call the police. Under 142 of the Penal Code, I'm going to file a civil arrest on the individual who committed 240 of the Penal Code, assaulting me. And now that officer is also committing another crime by refusing to accept my citizen's arrest. And I would like an apology and that removal lifted. And I honestly can care less if I have to waste 20 hours of filling out God knows what legal documents for the Placer County Superior Court, the DA's investigative branch, the California Attorney General's office, to have this officer prosecuted, or unless the grown-ups in the room look into it as a serious matter and say, did he ever even create any disturbance whatsoever outside of just simply walking away from somebody who was threatening him, who sexually assaulted his very good elderly friend. I don't know how
Andrew,
much
I'm
more
gonna
of a
stop you.
better person that I can be for doing that. There's 2 people that stabbed people over in Royer Park in the last 6 months because of me. They're now in jail.
Okay, Andrew, I'm going to stop you just for a moment. Is there a police report number that you have, or can we connect you with?
They may be able to
we
find
have
it.
one of our assistant city managers here, I think, who can maybe meet you out in the library and get your phone number so
I
we can
just
reach
think
that.
it's, I mean, like,
Look into this further.
officers of the law, they're very well versed in fruits of a poisonous tree. If you pull over somebody because you don't like the color of their skin, their sex, whatever, anything you find is inadmissible. It's strict rules. That's why you guys create laws, and they can't be overlooked. Just because I may not be it, sometimes stuff comes across is I am intelligent. I was teaching doctors when I was 21. You know, so the way I speak with people, they think I'm being a jerk when I'm just really the nicest guy on earth.
Okay, would you mind meeting Dion out into the lobby and he can get some information from you?
So will somebody be contacting me to address this issue? Because I don't want to go wasting.
Do you have somebody who's waiting?
Just the process. I know the Brown Act prohibits us from taking action on public comment, but we have a formal appeals process for any removal from a public facility, particularly a library and Parks and Recreation. And so we have staff that can share that process and be happy to do that.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
First-time listener.
Okay, thank you for being here.
Take care, you guys.
Is there anyone else tonight that would like to make a public comment? Now is your time to do so.
Mayor, council members, Richard Wuckmer, angry citizen here today, upset citizen. Our last meeting together, you were pressured to accept a substandard product about an important issue. In voting on the Placer County grand jury findings on homelessness, you were presented with an untimely false choice. You were told to rubber stamp the city's response or risk being held in contempt of the California State Superior Court. Now, this upsets me because it's bad staff work, but I hope it upsets you as much as it upsets me because it is a silent abdication of your duties and responsibilities of oversight of this government. Now, I'm not saying that the government of the city of Roseville intentionally and maliciously is eroding your authority. No, I'm saying it's much worse than that. I'm saying that we are unintentionally inflicting these things upon ourselves. That we are blindly stumbling towards serfdom, that we are ignorantly falling into the traps and snares of powerful special interests due to a lack of the light of knowledge and the guidance of counsel, which is your job, the job of this council. But that was last week. This week, I bring good news. You see, I have scoured the city, looked over the horizon to try to see other issues that are lying in ambush, waiting to spring on you after it's too late for you to do anything about it. And I believe that I have found one. Before you is a packet that I have prepared on the Roseville Transit grant approval published on September 26th of last week. So I'm going to summarize for the audience. This is but I encourage you to take home the packet, look into it, and then come back next City Council meeting so we can talk about it in a little more detail, offer some guidance and recommendations. But this is a $13.6 million grant to electrify our Roseville bus fleet, paying for electric buses and the required infrastructure. It's a majority of the funding is for charging stations, dispensers, other required charging equipment. Only a small amount is for paying for the actual electric buses, for about 15 buses. Now, the problem with this free government money is, of course, there's no such thing as free government money. The electric fleet refit vouchers require a total and complete destruction of working diesel and gas buses. So there will be no addition to the Roseville fleet for these 15 buses. We'll have the same going in and coming out. Now, I am asking council members to add to the next meeting's agenda a resolution to set the expectations and limit of this rebate program. I believe it goes a little too far, but you have a responsibility to both inform the citizens of Roseville why we're destroying fully functional equipment and to hear from them and some of their responses. So I myself, on October 18th, the day before the next council meeting, at 6 p.m. in this very room, will present my recommendations to the Roseville Transit Commission. Now, my recommendation is not to deny this grant, but instead to minimize it. I recommend using the minimum amount of buses, so 5 buses, which is the prescribed minimum within Title 49 U.S. Code subsection 5339A 10B. And so that's what I will talk to them about. I encourage you to please bring this for an agenda item for discussion next meeting. You have your take-home packet. And I will leave you with one last comment, though I don't think that I need to remind you that it is your responsibility to protect the citizens of Roseville, but I do think I need to remind you that sometimes it's also your responsibility to protect this government from itself. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here tonight that would like to make a public comment? Now's your time to come forward. Okay, I'll close public comment and bring it back to council and staff for final thoughts before we depart. Any comments or reports from staff?
For me.
No further comments, Mayor. Thank you.
Councilmember Rakucci, you want to start us off?
Okay. Mayor Bernasconi and I and city manager was able to meet with, and our assistant city manager met with members of Union Pacific. So it was really a good meeting because we haven't really got together since COVID. And so got an update on things that were happening with Union Pacific, not only in Roseville but nationally. And it was a good meeting, and I'm looking forward to having additional meetings, just being updated and having that good relationship. Matter of fact, one of the items that's on our council agenda that was approved is the Roseville Parkway Extension Project. It's a public highway overpass agreement, but part of that agreement was we're going over rail lines, so we're working closely with Union Pacific on this, and so this is really exciting because we've been working on this parkway extension for a long time, and it's like almost coming to fruition. Still a long ways. This is just the agreement. We don't have anything else, but it's definitely in the right track. Also, we had some ladies that came into town over the weekend. They're called California Federation of Women's Clubs, and so they had a regional meeting, and this is an organization that's all over California, and so they had over 100 people at the Polish Hall, and they're nonprofit. They do a lot of community events in their area, so it was really nice to welcome them from the City Council to Roseville, and very nice group of ladies who were very dynamic, and they're always busy doing things, so that's a good thing. Also, I see it's Public Power Week, and our electric department, our utility billing area, which is across the street at 116 South Grant, has a program to honor Public Power Week, and that's what we are, that we have our utilities and can run them very effectively and cost effectively. But what they're going to give is a 4-pack of LED light bulbs from now until October 7th. If you show your utility bill, it's the first come, first serve. So a way to celebrate Public Power Week. That's it.
Thank you. Councilmember Nanta?
I only have a few things. One of my council assignments is the Roseville Police Athletics League, or RPAL, and they are having their second annual Bacon and Brew Fest this Saturday right here on the town square. There are a few tickets still remaining. If you haven't been, you should go, and if you have been, you know what a great time it is. So I would encourage you to buy those tickets. That's on RPAL's website. The funding from this event goes to promote the activities and the different functions that RPAL does for our youth here in the community. It's a really excellent program, and coming out of COVID, nonprofits like RPAL and others could certainly use all the financial support that we can give them. So if you're available on Saturday and want to have a good time, I would encourage you to go out there and do that. And also, today is World Teacher Day, so if you know an educator, go home and thank them. I'm married to one, so as soon as I leave here, I will make sure, in case I forget, I'm doing it here publicly, so she can watch on TV, great. So I get a pass.
He's not watching, Tracy, sorry.
I guarantee she's not watching. But yes, it's World Teacher Day, so I just want to acknowledge all of our wonderful teachers here in Roseville and throughout our county. Thank you for all you do. It is a thankless job sometimes, and that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Vice Mayor Hadashot?
Yeah, I'll keep the food theme going. Councilman Mendoza and I, CEO Rana Godbanya. Can you change your last name to Howdershell, and I can roll that or roll off the tongue?
Eli Howdershell.
And Michelle, Wayne Wiley, and Melissa Aguiano and I. Mayor was triple booked at the time, but we did a proclamation last week to Chef Q, who was one of the lead chefs. He has the restaurant Q1227, and he was one of the lead chefs on the Farm to Fork Tower Bridge dinner. So that keeps the food thing going, and I'm out. All right.
Nice. All right. Councilmember Alvord?
I got to spend some time at the Venture Lab. They had an event last Thursday, and they had several of the Roseville Rising companies, startups in there, and I got to meet some of them, and that was kind of exciting. It's nice to see stuff happening over there, and that's our goal, is to get these businesses going. And then swung by for the Arcona Candidates Forum, and I got to see 3 candidates in District 2 for City Council, and I can't vote for any of them, but if you haven't made up your mind yet who you want to vote for, I encourage you to go to the Arcona website, rcona.org. I'm pretty sure they've got the video up by now. If not, they'll have it soon. But it's very informative. There's a lot of questions asked. You can get a good idea of the different candidates. And then carrying on with the RPAL theme, the local Dutch Bros company owners who live locally, they presented RPAL with, I think it was $3,411, something like that, a check for a fundraiser they did for them. And they presented the check yesterday, and just wanted to thank them. I thought that was a really neat thing for supporting kids, and excited for the stuff coming down the road. So,
thank you very much. I just have a few things to share. Vice Mayor Hadashot mentioned to me about triple booked. I feel like that has been my life lately, is triple booked. But it has been busy between council assignments and council duties and work and family. But holding it together with the SACOG committee. We had our policy and innovation meeting this week. Today was a homeless task force meeting, and Vice Mayor Hadashot and I were there, and that is just the continuation of the dialogue with all of the stakeholders within the county at the city level and the county level, and our law enforcement partners and probation, to really talk about solutions and what we're doing right and what we can be doing better when it comes to our unsheltered population. But we are making really good progress with having all of us at the table. Just a reminder for those about Placer Valley 2022 event, October 19th. It's definitely going to be a day that we are all going to want to attend, and encourage all business owners and residents and employees in the region to attend. It's going to be at Bayside Blue Oaks, starting around 11:30. Tickets are available through the Chamber's website, and I know the city is a sponsor of that. Next week, I'll be gone for a few days on the Sacramento Chamber's study mission, and there will be a few staff members that are going as well to look at other cities and what they're doing right and what we can emulate or do a little bit differently. Really interesting, you talk about our economic development and sports tourism. Many of us probably don't know, and I didn't know until I was invited to attend and say a few words, but the BMX is a really huge community all over the nation, but their state champions were here a week ago Friday, and they are Sunday, and they asked if I would come out and say a few words, and there were like 927 bikers, youth, and then you multiply that with all of their families that are here. And so they estimated that they had about 4,000 people in town, and they love Roseville, and they love that BMX track. So that was really cool. Started this morning with the Donut with a Cop with our own Roseville Police Department, and we also had our partners there from the Placer County DA's office, and I think maybe even CHP was there, but Vice Mayor Hadashell.
Pearl was there too.
Okay, we started our morning there just to support them. It was at Bad Baker Donut. I did not have one.
Oh, there were no calories in those.
It's really good, but I did order 4 dozen to take Saturday morning as my high school son who plays football watches film on Saturday morning. So hopefully I'll be a big hit by bringing them donuts. And just 2 more things I'd like to share. The city manager and the mayor and our chamber CEO meet every month, and we met with Rana a couple weeks back, and she shared with us, and I thought the council would be interested in knowing that from the State of the City event, which was a free event, as you remember, and open to everybody, we did ask for sponsorships, and we were very successful in getting them to help offset the cost that it takes to have it with the rentals and the food and that sort of thing. So I'm really proud, and the chamber really stood up and did an amazing job with kind of that physical backbone labor of it. So I want to just let you all know that the proceeds from that, after the chamber was able to pay their bills, $7,500 will go to the city's Reach Fund, which will go back into the community. $7,500 will go to the chamber to support their more than 1,000 businesses that they have. And $5,000 will go to the Roseville Joint Union High School District in a scholarship. It'll go, there'll be 5 $1,000 scholarships, kind of one-time money. And that was important for me to be able to do. So I would call that a very successful event, and we're going to be able to pay that forward. So thank you all for your support. We had a full council there that morning, and I've received really good feedback. And then lastly, I just want to adjourn the meeting in all of the well wishes on behalf of the City Council for Officer Cooper, one of our motor cops who was hit this morning. Sounds like he's going to be okay, with maybe a collarbone broken, some broken bones, but sounds like he has a lot of love and support surrounding him. And I've been in communication with our chief and our city manager, so we send them all sorts of love and prayers and thoughts, and we are here to support them in any way that they need. So with that, I will just adjourn, wishing him all of the best in his honor, and we'll meet you back here in 2 weeks. Thank you very much.